Hi all, this is E. I'd like to welcome you to this session of marketwizards.com with a rehash of today's trading. Give you a few ideas of things that we were looking at and talk about a couple of things as we go into the new year. First, a reminder that I capture the notes that I post on Twitter every day when I can. And I also capture the charts and put them consolidated into one page. You'll find that under free videos and charts. And if you click on the blog, you'll find it located on the side column here. So if you want to review, this is the least expensive way that I offer. It's called free. And day after day, I post these with my ideas. Some will be fairly obvious, others you may scratch your head at and not sure of the methodology or technique, and maybe some of the proprietary things that we monitor, but you'll get a feel for what we do and the types of charts we use and what we're looking at. So be sure to take a look there if you're interested in learning more about the way we trade. I will look at a variety of charts, usually 10 to 15-minute varieties. I'll also look at fives, I'll look at 30s. But what I try to do at the beginning of the day is say, where can we go today? What is the likelihood that we're going to find a support zone and where perhaps is a resistance zone? We had already discovered a resistance zone overnight, so the question is, can we get back above that or not? Until then, that's the assumed resistance. And obviously, we want to come to this blue line and test that. That was our first primary test. And then anything below that, we start to get into the good fortune territory and what I thought might be an inside day. So as the day developed, that's the way it did play out. We were able to come down and test into the 64 range, 63s. Never did get to 62s, which I felt was probably an important support zone today. And quite truthfully, a very sluggish type day with very little rotational movement, a very choppy type session. So this is one of the more important charts I'm going to look at. And this chart tells me the frame for the last couple of days. This was a 5-minute RTH chart and one that I rely on heavily to understand the balance and where we are. You could see this move. This was the breakout on Friday. A little triangle here, a little pennant. Took out the first hour high and away we went rest of the day, and then settled in at the end of the day, and truthfully we had one more bounce early and to retest these highs in the 75 area, and that held, and by virtue of that it tells us if we get a 10-point handle swing, we're going to be in that 65 64 range, and if that holds, and that's certainly the way it played out. Rain line I rely on a lot to tell me if we're in an upswing or a downswing. This is fairly neutral now, but still the moving averages are above that line, and so it's hard to make the case for big plunge down until we get everything down here. And you will notice how after a while these will start to converge, and as they do, they'll give you less information. All we know here is that we are pretty well stretched from this line, and a return to it isn't cause for panic, but it does alert us to, okay, we're more in balance now once we come here. So I was looking for this 69 to 72 zone as being resistance today. And then could we get back down and test the angel from Friday into that 62? And I assumed if we got there that would be bought, that would be primary support today. Never did quite get there. Sometimes you're even going to miss a lot of trades because you're too conservative. Other times you're pushing it and you get stopped out being too aggressive. Today, if you played, I'm sure you played small and look for risk to and make to in terms of your profit objectives. This is a nice look at a 30-minute chart, which I was using today. I thought this was a chart in play. I figured it was 15 or the 30. Those are usually my go-to charts. The 30-minute chart, you could see very nicely the pivot point and this blue line, the slope line, captured and contained the bounce. And if you want re-entry, if you took a nibble short side and then said I want to take one more short, you may have tried to get the half gap and the gap type trade. And if you did, this is a signal to usually to make sure you get paid here. And then we jiggle around a little bit and eventually just trailed off into the close, coming back to test the lows. So I call this the funnel. I look for this rain line on the 30 Globex, and this was support 1 in that 62 region. So I thought this was the funnel today that would contain the price action, and once we broke this in either direction, then I'd give it a little more bias in that direction. And here's a faster chart. This was our 15. I started with a 10 with the assumption that we'd migrate to the 15 by the end of the day. And that's why conservatively you said your first targets would probably be in that 66 to 65 range, which showed up on both the 10 and the 15-minute chart. And then the slope line really contained it nicely and kept price action from getting back above it. And this is still fairly neutral. The way I'm looking at this, but these are the things we look for. Perfect bounce on Friday and up a little bit too high, and then we've come back and settled back down. And this, of course, was designed to test and challenge last year's high at 73. So going forward, we're going to keep an eye on that, obviously, as most traders will. If we can get back above it, then we can test new highs, obviously, and if we can't, then we're doing a retracement move, which I'm expecting we will be doing, and the question is for how long and to what level. This is an angels and demons chart that I kept an eye on today, and these pivots are dynamic. They will change throughout the day. If you look at this chart, and a lot of times traders have all these colors on charts, which I like. They're beautiful, but they're very emotional. So I always have at least one chart or two charts that are black and white, less emotional. Focus on that, and without a lot of lines on it, without a lot of moving averages, just so I can see the bigger picture more clearly. If you're starting out, that's a must. As you get trading, you can probably have some more what I call spaghetti charts, but you really need at least a couple with not very much information on them, just so you can see a broader look. These are all white bars, and in our methodology, that tells me that these were all positive bars, and so this run below this line, this was a fast move up. And so that a lot of times needs to get retested. And today we were basically looking at that zone as our retest zone. You can see how fast up, and then today very choppy in that range. That's typical. It doesn't happen all the time, but that's a typical play to come back. Sometimes you go fast up, fast down, and then come back and settle here. We went fast up, and then we came back down, but we really just chopped through it today instead of sliding and testing the low of this bar. And then obviously this bar is your next support low down here in that 58 zone. So today was a very gentle, soft day, and we had, once we broke the first low and came back through, you can see how this area, and that's why I had this 72 as resistance. Usually I put a point or so above this break and say, okay, that's my resistance, and it shouldn't get above that. If it does, it's stronger than I think. So you'll see this type of a platform that I will draw just to show where the break was. Here's the first time, here's your second time, and then third time through it comes and holds and never gets back above it. So this is an area that will want to be retested at some point. And that's one of the ways we look to fabricate trades and say, where is it likely to go back and retest? So this is an important chart for me, and this is the range trading. And once you trigger into this line, then you're going to come back in a retest normally, and then this is a second retest, and even the third, which didn't break, but we're going to be watching this obviously overnight and tomorrow. Once again, a reminder to check out our mart. If there are products here that we can help you with, your trading, we'd love to help you. what we try to do is help other traders. Obviously, trading in a vacuum is very difficult. Some of us have been at this for 25 years plus. And part of giving back is helping share some of the things you've learned. As a business, you try obviously to make a few bucks for your time and energy, sharing and helping other people. With nothing invested, most people won't even think too hard and long about what you're offering. So it is important, I think, that you step up and pay some traders that are worth it. I'd like to think I'm one of them. There are tons of them out there that I can recommend. And if you look at our homepage, you'll discover them pretty easily. But go to our mart and see some of the product offerings we have. Click on them, and it will tell you the different opportunities you might find through our programs. Currently, we're doing the Swing Trader Special, and click on that. And obviously, if it's something that interests you, then sign up or get in touch with admin to learn a little more about it. I'd love to help some of you that are learning. I wish I had people like myself teaching me way back when. It took me many years to come up with ideas that are consistently profitable. Not 100%, that's impossible, but certainly more often than not. And in our style of trading, we look to have swing trades that are going to be 1 to 3 days in duration probably, and day trades, which is the heart of what we like to do, is finding those moments in time where the odds get much closer to 80 or 90%, where you're going to get at least a 2-point reversal where you can risk 2 points and make two. And if that's the kind of trading you like to do, that's more day trading. Certainly those things will also be taught through this course. But for those that are looking for a 1 to 3 day holding time and looking for a little more meat, learning how to do that, then try signing up for this course. If you'd like to talk to me directly, my phone number is on the site, and you're welcome to call me and talk a little bit more. Hope this helps you, and good trading. We will see you again on another session. Be well.